Welcome to this week's edition of Morning Line, the USTA's weekly news magazine. I'm Paul Ramlow.
And I'm Allison Conte. It was a big night for Indiana sired horses this past Saturday as they captured a trio of the Breeders' Crown Finals at Woodbine Racetrack. The finale of the night was the open pace, in which Always Be Mickey posted a sensational 1:49 3 mile over a rain-soaked surface at Woodbine. The victory, a year removed from when the son of Always a Virgin had to be scratched from the Crown 3-year-old pacing colt final at the Meadowlands, came at the expense of stablemate J.K. End of an Era and Mock It So. Owned by Bluewood Stable, Roll the Dice Stable, and Christina Tactor, the victory was the 6th of the 12 Breeders' Crown races for Jimmy Tactor and the 5th by winning driver David Miller.
It's amazing the horse has overcome all the obstacles he had and performed the way he done. You can't say enough about it.
Has he come back as good as he ever was?
Yeah. I went down
Yes. Mickey, it's like he's been a horse that I know he had all the ability he had, and for me to be able in 10 months here standing here in the Breeders' Crown, it's very special.
I feel very good.
How did everybody come out of the races?
First, I know everything is cool. The horses are fine. Everything is. I haven't heard any bad thing happen to them anyway, so everything is pretty good.
Freaky Feet Pete, a $62,500 supplemental entry, rallied from far back as the favorite to capture the Breeders' Crown 3-year-old male pacing event at Woodbine. The son of Rockin' Image looked to be far out of contention on the final turn, but driver Trace Tetrick gave him his marching orders in the stretch, and the colt sprinted to a 150 victory at the expense of Artspeak and Lost for Words. In the stretch, Lost for Words opened up a few lengths of lead, but Freaky Feet Pete had already been sent wide, and he was closing with Wild Abandon. Trained by Larry Reinheimer for owners Mary Jo Reinheimer and Marty Reinheimer, Freaky Feet Pete kicked home the winner, with Artspeak coming solidly for second and Lost for Words finishing third.
Were you worried about how far back you were?
I was. I didn't think I was that far back until we got going in the turn and David's horse sprinted away from us. Then I was like, ugh. I said, at least we're going to be at least second. And the horse kept fighting hard, and he got there at the end, and he just doesn't have any quit in him, which says a lot for, any horse.
And incredible speed, too.
Yes, he's fast and he knows how to carry it, and he's gifted at that, He doesn't really have to work at it or think he's working at it, which makes him go as much as they can or need to.
How incredible is this?
It's just unbelievable. I can't believe it yet. It's just been a super ride. We just can't believe these little country people are.
And he proved it tonight. People said, is this a Grand Circuit horse? He's only beat Indiana horses. He sure proved it.
He sure proved it tonight. Yes, he's one of them.
You guys are standing in the wind and the rain, and it's not a very nice night out. Does it make it any less special?
No, it makes it special tonight.
How incredible is that horse? He closed.
Every time he goes to the track, he just gives me chills. He races good. He gives everything he's got.
Were you worried about how far back he was?
Yeah, I was a little bit, but I didn't see him coming. I thought we could get there quick enough.
Your son co-owns with your wife. You train the horse. This has got to be just.
Well, it's a family affair, and it's a lifetime dream.
Colors of Virgin, last year's 3-year-old pacing mare champion, showed her true colors Saturday night at Woodbine in the $250,000 Breeders' Crown mare pace. In the driving rain and wind, the daughter of Always a Virgin and David Miller nosed out Stand Between Your Toes at the wire in a time of 1:53 3. Colors of Virgin had experienced a topsy-turvy kind of season. She came into the race with 7 wins and 17 starts and earnings of $150,000. But similar to many 3-year-old fillies making the transition to the older ranks, she needed time to make the adjustment. She made it 3 in a row at 3 separate tracks with the win in the Breeders' Crown and surpassed $1 million in lifetime earnings. She is trained by Brian Brown for breeder owner Emerald Highlands Farm.
I told Bruce before, I think next year she'll come back and turn into a really good horse. Dehydration, a little tying up, just keeps her a notch below where she should be. I want to congratulate Tony O'Sullivan. He's the one that kind of turned this mare around this year. He deserves a lot of the credit. And Bruce's employees at his farm, she spends most of her time at the farm. They jog her, bring her in, train her, and we race her. So congratulations to all those guys too.
The 4 Breeders' Crown races for 2-year-olds followed form for the most part, with Southwind Frank wrapping up his divisional title in the freshman colt trot race. The son of Muscle Hill, Flawless Lindy, has been a dominant force in the division all season long, and the crown performance with Yannick Gingras in the bike was no exception as he cruised over the rain-soaked Woodbine Oval in a 154-2 clocking under wraps. Owned by Burke Racing Stable, Weaver Brusemi, Our Horse Scent Stables, and J&T Silva Stables, the victory was win number 11 in a dozen starts for the impressive colt, trained by leading conditioner Ron Burke, who celebrated his 9th Breeders' Crown victory.
Ronnie was not a fan of this horse training down, and it's not too often that he's wrong. But what's it like for you as an owner when you get a nice little surprise like this?
It's pretty cool. We had Mission Brief last year, and now him. We usually don't have the trotters, but he surprises us every time, and it's been fun to watch.
He looked absolutely dominant out there. Was it as easy as it looked?
Yeah, oh yeah. Like he's just a horse that waits for him a little bit. So, in marrying my router, I thought he was the horse to beat. So I wasn't, overly happy to see him first up outside of me around the last turn. But when I call him my horse, he really responded like he always has, and he kicked clear in the stretch. And he was under a hand drive finish, and it's not like he was not overly stressed.
Pure Country maintained her undefeated streak in the $600,000 Breeders' Crown 2-year-old filly Pace, winning in 151-4 as the 1-9 favorite. With Brett Miller in the sulky, Pure Country defeated She's a Real Deal and Mayhem Sealster in 151-4 for her 10th straight victory. A homebred filly from Diamond Creek Farm by Some Beach Somewhere out of the Western Hanover mare, Western Montana, Pure Country collected her 10th win of the season and pushed her seasonal earnings to nearly $700,000 for trainer Jimmy Tactor.
This is our first one that we bred and own 100% of, so I'm super excited.
And it looks like we're going to see great things from this filly.
I hope so. So far, so good. 10 for 10. It's kind of hard to complain with that.
Is there ever an anxious moment with this filly?
It was at the Meadows, and she got headed down by the wire, and she wasn't quite herself that day. And that's the only time that we've raced her where I felt a little anxious. But honestly, since that start, she's just been awesome. She's been awesome all along. But Jimmy, yeah, Jimmy obviously does a great job with her, and he's always had her at her best in the big races.
The Jimmy Tactor trained all the time brushed to the lead after a quick quarter set by stablemate Kathy Parker, while advancing to a 156-2 victory in the $600,000 Breeders' Crown 2-year-old filly trot. All the time drew away in the stretch to stop the previously unbeaten Haughty with Caprice Hill third. Marvin Katz and Elle Liebfeld's homebred All the Time claimed her 6th win in 10 starts this year. She is by Muscle Hill out of the Cantab Hall mare Can't Have It All and was driven to victory by Yannick Gingras.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Tonight she was as sound as could be, and she's always had the abilities.
Just sprinted away from him in the lane.
Yeah, and I still had plenty left. I never kicked the earplug or nothing. I could tell that I was pulling away from them, but I wasn't grabbing onto her. That's for sure. I was letting her trot all she wanted, but she's a very nice filly.
The biggest upset in the 2-year-old ranks came when Boston Red Rocks knocked it out of the park in the $600,000 Breeders' Crown for colts and geldings. Boston Red Rocks, driven by Tim Tetrick, emerged from far back in the stretch and finished furiously to post an impressive 2.5-length victory in a lifetime best 151-3. It was the 3rd career victory and 7 career starts for the son of Rock and Roll Hanover, McGibson. Owned by Peter Blood and Rick Burks and trained by Steve Elliott, the 18-1 long shot paid $38.90. Big Top Hanover placed 2nd and Investment Blue Chip was 3rd. Steve has been telling me how much he loved this horse. I mean, did you have any indication that you were going to come up here and win the Breeders' Crown tonight?
Well, I got to shout out to Pete Blood, my partner. He's the guy that picks these horses out of the sale and breaks them and trains them and gets them ready to drop in the box, and then he ships them up to Steve Elliott, who's a great trainer also. And they've been telling us, all summer he's great and he's coming around. So we're not surprised. We're thrilled, but we're not shocked.
And I have never owned a Breeders' Crown winner. Tell me what that feels like. Oh, really? Your first
Me neither. No, it's awesome. And all you guys out there, I've been doing it 30-something years, and it's worth the wait.
The Breeders' Crown may be in the books, but we're in for another big night of Grand Circuit action at Hoosier Park this Friday. In the Carl Erskine, we'll see Hambletonian champion and Breeders' Crown runner-up Pinkman take on a full field of 10 that includes Yonkers Trot winner Habitat and undefeated local hero Homicide Hunter, who supplemented to the $265,000 event.
We're definitely racing for a check. I mean, with that caliber of horses, and I know it was probably a little crazy to put him in there. but we wanted to give him one chance, and we figure our best shot was probably at Hoosier Park. Had to work hard a couple times, but we're just really interested to see him in with better horses and where the flow is moving a little faster, because he's such a strong finisher, and I don't I don't know. Yeah, we're probably in over our head.
The marquee matchup of the night comes in the Monument Circle for 3-year-old pacers. Freaky Feet Pete returns to his home track just 6 days after his Breeders' Crown victory to once again take on Wiggle It Jiggle It. They have met twice before and each has a win to show for it, so they'll be looking to settle a score, each gunning for the best 2 out of 3. It may not be a walkover though, as the field also features Brian Brown's Little Brown Jug runner-up Lost for Words and 3rd place finisher in the jug, My Hero Ron.
This week's tweet of the week is naturally a comment on the Breeders' Crown. It seems that trainer Ron Burke has some more work to do. At Ron Burke Racing tweeted, "I'm pretty good at motivating myself, but if the display at Jimmy Takter put on at Breeders' Crown doesn't make you strive for more, there is something wrong." And we harness fans are lucky enough this week to not only get to watch a great card at Hoosier Park featuring some of the Grand Circuit's best, but we also get to see another matchup between Harness Racing's #1, Wiggle It Jiggle It, and the freshly crowned Freaky Feet Pete. They've met twice before and each have 1 win to show for it, so I want to know who you're rooting for to get the best 2 out of 3. Are you Team Freaky Feet Pete or Team Wiggle It Jiggle It? Or will someone else upset them both in the talented field? Let us know on Facebook and Twitter for a chance to win a Breeders' Crown hat or a 100 Years in Harness book.
In this week's edition of Paul's Paddock Picks, I will take a look at Friday's Carl Erskine Trot at Hoosier Park. Division leader Pinkman was nailed at the wire in last week's Breeders' Crown final by stablemate The Bank, but has a chance to atone for that loss rather quickly. He drew well in post position 4 and has Yannick Gingras in the bike this Friday. I think the Jimmy Takter trainee will find his way back to the winner's circle in this Grand Circuit race. For place, I'm going to go with Muscle Diamond. It's been a hard luck year for the Brett Biddle trainee, but he raced extremely well in finishing 3rd in the Breeders' Crown, missing by just 1.5 lengths. Hall of Famer John Campbell gets the driving call once again, but must start from an outside post 7. For show, I'm going to go with the hometown hero, Homicide Hunter. Unbeaten in 16 starts this year, the Kurt Grummel trainee will be facing his stiffest competition of the season, but he drew the rail, and I think he can get a big piece of the action. So once again in the Carl Erskine, I'm going with Pinkman to win, Muscle Diamond to place, and Homicide Hunter to show. Whew, Allison, that was a jam-packed show. Thanks for watching.
Join us next week where we'll see if it was Pete or Wiggle It or a surprise winner at Hoosier Park.
And we look ahead to the Harrisburg Sale and the American Nationals at Balmoral.
We'll see you next week on The Morning Line.